Coming up next, 3 fragrance regrets. 3 fragrances in my collection that I regret actually purchasing. Find out what they are coming up next. All right, guys, so this is a video where I'm gonna discuss 3 fragrances. Not that I hate them, I don't hate them, but I regret buying them because, you know, hard-earned money is hard-earned money, and I don't have money to throw around. And to me, each purchase I make is really special, and it's something that I wanna wear, and it's also why I don't collect thousands or, you know, whatever fragrances like a lot of people do, because you know, it just to me is overkill if you can't actually enjoy them and, you know, use them. So when I look at this, these are 3 fragrances from my collection that, yeah, to me, they're just, you know, they're decent, they're good. Not saying they're bad, just not for me, and I regret purchasing them. So let's go right into this. First, this is Dolce & Gabbana, the one, you know, this is the EDT, the original. Look, I know a lot of people like this fragrance. Again, it's not that it smells bad. It's a very, very pleasant smell. When I smell it, I'm like, okay, nice. You know, I got this one actually because, not to wear, I got it because I wanted to review it. You know, it's one of those fragrances that's kind of considered a classic in the designer world, and a lot of people love it, and I wanted to have it to smell it. So that's why I bought it. But the reality is, it just, to me, again, you've heard me, if you've watched my videos before, talk about a lot of these designer fragrances kind of in the last 10 to 15 years. They all have the same kind of smell. They all have this like, same, it's almost like they put the same notes or similar notes, because they all have a very just designery, sweet kind of smell to them. And it's that sweet kind of like, you know, almost oriental type smell, but it's not oriental. And to me, again, it's just lackluster. EDT, their EDT, of course, since it is not as concentrated, you don't get a lot of staying power out of it. So you put this on, at least on my skin, it's gone after 3 or 4 hours. To me, again, just not worth it. Regret buying it. Although I do use it occasionally, and like I said, I don't hate it, just to me, it's just okay. Next, this is one that really pains me because I wanted to love it. And I have had a kind of back and forth on this over the years where I've liked it, I didn't like it. And this is Archetipo from Mendittorosa. Mendittorosa, the Italian niche house. I love the bottles. I love this house. I love a lot of what they do. It's very Italian, very forward-thinking, very just out there. They take a lot of risks with their fragrance, and that's why I like the brand, and that's why I wanted to love this and like it. But I've had this for like over 4 years now, like 5 years. And you can see I barely touched it. And that's because one thing, it is the dominant smell in this that just overtakes everything else is the smell of smoke. I gotta be careful because I don't want to get too much on me, but yeah. It smells like a fire, a campfire. And for any of you who like to camp or be out in the woods or whatever, and I've done that when I was younger, every once in a while I do it. Recently it got cold like a month and a half ago, and I was outside with the fire. And I love fires. I love being around a fire. I love the crackling noise. I love all that. What I don't like is the smell afterwards. What I don't like is then when you go back inside and you smell like smoke on your clothes, on your skin, you gotta shower, you gotta wash your clothes, all that. And that maybe is why I'm kind of like, you know, tormented on this, because I like the initial smell. I like how unique it is. It's got kind of a lemony or citrus top. It is very interesting. And for those of you who really like interesting niche fragrances, this is one to try. But the reality is, you know, it speaks for itself. I haven't used this in years now. I don't think I've actually worn it other than spraying it like I just did now for probably 2 or 3 years. And I want to like it. There's been times where I kind of force myself to try to like it because, I bought this, I can't remember, but it was at least $200 roughly in that range. And, I think a little bit over even. And I don't like wasting it. But that smoke smell, and maybe it's because of the whole, how fragrances trigger certain responses and memories. And it just reminds me again of that smell that lingers, which also reminds me of back in a lot of you guys won't know this, back in the 90s, you could still smoke anywhere. People could smoke cigarettes in bars. And when I'd be hanging out in my 20s in bars with friends, and even in the late 80s, all the bars and restaurants were filled with smoke. And you come home at the end of the night and you would just reek, and your entire clothes would reek. And you take them off, and if you put them over on the clothes hamper, it would just reek. Your clothes, everything else would reek from cigarette smoke. So I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit damaged because of that, and that's what it reminds me of. Last but not least, but interesting way to say that, Cedrat Boise from Mancera. And again, I'll say this one, great fragrance. I actually like the fragrance overall, but to me, it's too much of a Aventus, I won't use the word clone, although Mancera has a lot of people, I think, in the fragrance world think Mancera does do a lot of similar fragrances to other really popular ones without being a clone or dupe house. They're not, but that criticism has been leveled against Mancera before. It's a quality house, it's a quality brand, but it's interesting for me, nothing really stands out to me. It always kind of seems a little bit like other stuff. And Cedrat Boise, again, it was all the hype a number of years ago, and it just to me doesn't really hit. I've gotten compliments on it. I do wear it occasionally. You can see there's juice missing here. I have worn this, and sometimes when I'm really feeling kind of like that Aventus vibe, I'll put it on. So I still do wear it, but I regret buying it. It's to me lackluster. It's too much like Aventus, but not as good. There's obviously a million dupes that you can go out there and get for even a lot cheaper than roughly $180 or $200 at this cost. So, if you're looking for budget conscious, but it's nice. It is very Aventus-like, but, it got that kind of pineapple marine vibe going on. Just doesn't cut it for me. And, I know, again, people either love this one or really don't like it. I'm really neither camp. I do like it. Like I said, I just don't think it was worth the purchase. So there you have it. 3 fragrances that I regret purchasing in my collection. And this is gonna be fun. Let me see in the comments some of the fragrances that you guys regret purchasing that are in your collection. And that will be kind of fun because it's not always about, just, oh, this one's hyped and this is great. Let's be honest and let's be real here. Let's find out some of the stuff that maybe didn't work out so well for us, okay? I'll be back soon with another video. You know the rule. Don't be a wimp. Spray like a pimp. You know the rule. Don't be a wimp. Spray like a pimp.